So this is the September 9th meeting currently of just the Historic District Commission with no quorum for the regular Historic Commission. I don't believe there were any minutes. I know Christina couldn't be here. We got one request, it's not even a permit. The gentleman that's doing the work at 14 Maple Street reached out to find out about rooftop solar. And he sent a picture, I'm gonna try and share it. What he's looking to do, it would be on the rear of the roof. So his question is, does it even need our approval if it's not visible from the public way? It's hard to see.
If it's not visible from the public way, I don't even, and especially where it's solar, I don't know that we would even, this is even, you know what I mean?
Right. That was my thought. I just, since he put it in writing and since we've already issued a permit here, I figure we should make sure we talk about here. Let me share the actual satellite view just to, hopefully this will go through. So this is the same property. So where my mouse is, so that's the back of the roof. So.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah,
it's blocked from all the houses on Main Street and it's the far side from Maple. So I think, to me, if that works out and that gets him the solar he wants, that's the best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, it's better than a ground mount request.
Yeah, that's true, because he did mention that at one point, so.
Yep.
If this works, and I think I would agree with you, I don't think this even meets the standard of needing to come to the district.
Right, I don't even know, do we even need to issue anything?
I don't think so. It's a little vague on the process, like I don't think he's formally applying for a certificate of non-applicability. I think in this case, when he does pull the permit, it'll get flagged, and then we can say, we clearly talked about it and it's not visible.
Right.
Just, I think some of these properties that are actively being developed, it's more important to talk about it than make sure everybody knows what's going on.
Okay.
I haven't really looked at this one to see. We probably should drive by and make sure he's doing the stuff with the windows that he's supposed to do.
I took a quick look when I went to the post office and nothing jumped out at it all looked fine. So
I think this is the one that I think that was him that posted on Facebook. So I think he's already trying to find tenants. So I don't know how far along he is, but all right. So I'll let him know that is not an issue unless, is everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's Debbie. It's fine. I mean, the other Debbie.
Yes, I don't see anything from Kathy yet, but I guess it's somewhat of a district thing too. So the other big item was the question of the Civil War monument. And I don't know, let me find the email. I think the initial question is they were looking to put together a task force or a working group to kind of talk through this. I'm not clear. It kind of sounds like now they want to move it. I think there's going to be less of that island than they thought, and what people's thoughts are on that here. We're getting ready to kick off a task force to decide on where the Civil War monument will be relocated. The goal is to have a new location identified before the beginning of October. I've attached a sketch of where it is currently. Do you know of anyone else who should be involved or might want to be part of the group? And that's what we got. It was an email from the select board and Jeremy. So, John, do you have more info? Feel free to.
Yeah, I do. Jeremy and I met with the select board, the Mass DOT, and they're specific to relocating signage, monuments, everything that has to do with these construction projects. And so they proposed it to us as we have three options. We either do it as the town of Mendon, whereas the highway department would move it we hire somebody to do it, or we let Mass DOT take the reins and do it themselves with a contractor. We just tell them where we want it and how we want it set up, and then they facilitate it. I think we were leaning in that direction, but our thoughts were to get more input on how we wanted to proceed and where we wanted it to go. There were 2 locations that were discussed in that meeting. If we cannot keep it in the current location, because the engineer for the project is supposed to be assigned by, I believe, the middle to the end of this month, and then he will have a better understanding on whether there's going to be enough room to just move it where it is, or if we need to pick it up and move it to, say, a Founders Park or a Memorial Field or some other location in town. So I think Jeremy and I had talked about it, and we had thought to, like, let's bring other parties into it to get their take on how this is all going to play out.
I mean, I'm not opposed to moving it to like Founders Park or something.
I mean,
if it's
that
gonna be
seems
like all forced in the middle, but if it's
best case, we thought best case would be to, if we can keep it in the same location and just move it, say 15 or 20 feet, that'd be great. If not, Founders Park was kind of where we were leaning, but we need to look at all options.
Okay.
Yeah, I would think Memorial Park doesn't make sense. I kind of like that it's part of that center of town parade route.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I like it where it is. I think that's kind of historic, but then again, if that's becoming a much more congested area, maybe it doesn't make sense.
We'll just say that looking at the plans that they presented to us, there were a lot of different layers on it, and it was kind of tough to figure out where exactly the new intersection is going to be, as opposed to where the monument is. We are going to lose that island, but they're not sure on whether we can push it towards Carlson's house, the blue house that sits up there. If we could push it 15 feet towards there, it may work, but the engineer is going to have a better idea when they actually get on board and reach out to us.
Yeah, I mean, I think it really depends on what's left once they do all of their road work, right? And is it just going to be a random monument and you're not going to have, anything around it to sort of buffer it? I guess that would be my concern, right? Like if we depend on the state to take care of it, and I apologize if I'm breaking up at all, but if we depend on the state to take care of it and then everybody's unhappy, well then, I don't know. I just feel like it makes sense in Founders Park, right? Kind of to Dan's point, but I mean, if just because everything's just being restructured and moved so much, I mean, everybody likes where it is now, but that's not how the road's going to look.
Right. Like if it's just going to be in the middle of a concrete, little postage stamp concrete jungle, that might be a different feel than what we have now.
No, and we did discuss with them, moving the monument does entail moving all the granite that goes with it.
Okay.
So we can set this up so that it's not just a monument sitting on concrete. We can set it up similar to how it is up there. If there's room to do it. If there's not, then we look at Founders Park, or we just say, but it has to be moved before this project starts. Like we're on a time crunch to make a decision for this, I believe by the end of October.
Can we get the state to throw in some entering historic district signs while we're at it?
I mean, we could talk to him. And again, this guy is specifically, he's got, I think he said 8 locations that he has to go and talk to them about relocating their signs. Most of it is signage. Ours just happens to be a monument, which he said that we don't do a lot. More of it is like Willowbrook's sign that's right next to 16 has to be moved. It's stuff like that. So they will facilitate it for Willowbrook.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think we've been talking about having historic district signs for like the past 5 years, but then it just kind of keeps getting pushed because we know that what is the point if the state's coming in to redo everything?
Right.
And, how's the road?
I completely understand.
Yeah.
I have some road work I'd like to do in the center of town as well, and I can't do it because I don't want to do it, and then they just mess it up.
Right. But anyway, I digress about that. I mean, and talking about the monument, I just think if they can keep it and they can make it make sense with the road, then go for it. Great. Are you afraid that that it's going to become compromised in the move, or?
No, they've done this
Okay.
stuff, so they're gonna hire
Okay.
a reputable contractor that has done this stuff before, and they will use
Okay.
proper equipment. I'm not, when talking to them, I'm not worried about it at all, that it's gonna get damaged
Okay.
or compromised.
Okay, cool.
I mean, I would point out too, on the other side of it, the current, I guess, installation is crap. The grass is dead, it's all full of junk. It's, we've been putting it off, putting any time into it from parks because we know it's gonna get redone. So it would be a good opportunity too to have the state fix it up, reset those walls, maybe, talk about if it can be done a little different so it doesn't have to be mowed in terms of like ground cover. But so I think that would be a big opportunity wherever it does end up. I think the ask from them is that if there's a couple people that were interested in being on a working group to talk about it, and I think it would be less than a quorum of either board ideally, so we don't have to post meetings, and then if it needs to come back for a vote, I think in one of my emails, I had wondered if this even needs to have some sort of a hearing, or if it's gonna get moved, is the community gonna wanna have input? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, my take would be one person from historic committee or commission, and then one from historic district commission as a representative to have this conversation, and then bring it back to your respective committees.
Yeah, and then I think Sue Tatro was on that email as well, as like the representative from
She
veterans.
was, and she wants to be involved in it. So we're talking right now, if it's one from each of these committees, myself, Jeremy, Sue Tatro, we're talking 5 people.
So yeah, I mean, I'm happy to be involved. I don't know if any of you else are interested, or Kathy might
I'm
be a
happy
little.
to be involved when I can, but I don't want to commit to anything that I just don't have time. You know what I mean? So if I have the time, I'll, you can kind of
Yeah.
put me in as a when I have time participant. But
I would think it would be like some daytime meetings potentially, if it involves meeting with staff. But I don't think it's gonna be a huge commitment.
okay.
No, I think it's just coming up with a game plan, especially once we see the plans as to where we would like it and what we would like to see happen. I mean, depending on where it goes, we may not need all of the granite that's up there. If we decrease it to a 5x5 concrete footing area for it, as opposed to the 10 or 12x12 that's up there now.
Right.
Yeah,
I can. I'll if they're daytime, you know what I mean. I can try and get in there.
Is anyone else? Because I'm happy to be part of it. I think as long as we don't exceed 3 people on either board, we're not a quorum. But I don't know if there's anybody else that's like super interested. Hazel's the other one that maybe is up in the air, but I also know, I don't know if she's still dealing with the state with her own property. That might be, she is on the call too. But just because I know she's, I assume, pretty knowledgeable about this stuff. So I don't know, is anyone else, or should I just send Deb's name and my name?
Looks like
Yeah, I
it's
can't make
Dan.
daytime, so it's just you guys, sorry.
Right, I mean, I think that sounds like, and then we'll discuss and report back to, I think, both commissions and see what the next steps are once we know more. I think that's to me.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
No problem. We'll be talking to you guys soon.
Before you ditch us, because I know Deb brought it up, at some point, if we figured out a way to, because I think we were hoping to do some signage of like entering historic district. The problem is anything on 16, you gotta deal with the state, and then it had kind of stalled out with Alan, but is that something that we could perhaps work with Highway to install if we paid for it? Or at least identify locations?
Yep.
Because I know that kind of just stalled out in terms of exactly what we were gonna do and where we wanted it.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe we should look more into that. I'll have to find those emails we had with samples.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
how big a sign are we talking about?
I mean, it would not a gigantic sign at all. I don't think there's room in the budget for that. Just something, I don't know. We'll have to get you examples or whatever, but
Yeah, if you do that, because if I know what you're looking for, then I can reach out to some of our sign companies, and we may be able to help with some of that in our budget.
okay, awesome. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find those emails. That was a while ago. I think we have like
I
examples
think
of
I was messaging Karen from Science Plus like a long time ago about that, to see what she'd be willing to do and like what it would cost, but.
This is, here for Upton, a 2-foot by 2.5 foot cast aluminum plaque. Pre-drilled mounting holes. Pre-drilled for highway department installation on their 2-inch square posts, or whatever so I'll want to go take a picture of what they did in Upton.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it tomorrow.
I don't know. I don't ever drive over.
Sounds good. I know like we're Upton, Grafton, just some of the local towns around, they all have them. So we can just kind of peek at those.
All right, yeah, if you send me some samples, I can look into it as well.
All right, perfect. Sounds good, John.
All right, we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, we'll see
See
you.
ya.
Bye.
I think I found the email. I can forward it. Let me just check that. I think that was pretty much it for the critical stuff. I just want to look at our agenda and see if there's anything else that we, and then maybe we can set another meeting date for a more normal time. There aren't any really projects.
Yeah, and I don't think we need to do anything about those solar panels because they're on the rear of the roof and it just doesn't.
Yeah, I think sometimes, especially with some, it's good to just make sure everyone is on the same page in case somebody disagrees. Yeah, I'm not.
I don't know if you guys. I know Ruth had reached out to me like a couple months ago, and I feel bad because I don't think I said anything. But Ruth is no longer. She's not renewing with the historic district. So something I wanted to bring up was that we could definitely use more participants. I don't know who's.
I think Jane as well. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
If she also, so I think we have two, because did they appoint you as an alternate as a full member, Hazel? Do you remember?
I am not sure. I still have to finish my ethics thing. I feel so bad because I've been buried at work. And I need to finish that, I think, before they can do anything.
But I think we have 2 spots is the point, plus alternate. So yeah, there's other people out there. Maybe there's fewer people in town.
I thought about asking my next door neighbors, who I know kind of just in passing, but because they're also in a historic registered property, and they are kind of retired, so maybe they would be interested. I'll check in with them.
That would be good. And maybe somebody from Washington Street, I don't know. I wish we could get Brendan. He's probably on the select board.
So because he's on the select board, he can't be on the district?
I actually think...
Or maybe he doesn't have time. I don't know.
I think he could be. I think they generally try not to do that just to avoid, too much potential, too many things.
Right.
I don't know who else is up over there. Yeah, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 out of 7, and I think if this is correct, Hazel was appointed as an alternate. But
yeah. Sorry, I'm in the process of dropping off trunk or treat. Not trunk or treat. Rock the block stuff that's shoved in my car. There you guys go.
No worries. I'm in South Station, so I get it.
Oh, I just drove back from Boston, and let me tell you, not a fun time.
Yeah, the transit's no better because I had somebody throw themselves on the train again, and it's like it's becoming like a daily thing now.
Oh God, yeah. No, I don't like driving into Boston and
Here's
in the
Kathy
afternoon.
first. So actually, that was the
But
one thing we didn't talk about for the other group was the record room.
oh, okay.
Hi.
Yeah, what's going on with the record room?
This so we yeah, so I guess
Okay. Yeah, I can
with
I
Kathy
can
here,
sort of hear
we can
Hazel,
call
but
the
it's a little tricky.
so we can call the commission to order now at 6:22 with Kathy in attendance. Yeah, so that was the other thing on the agenda now, I guess more for the historic commission, if we want to just check in on the record room project. I think, I don't know, real quick, so the Civil War, I don't know if you saw some of the emails. Apparently it may end up having to get moved and they want to form basically a working group to figure out the plan and then bring it back. So they're looking for, so I think Deb Flanagan was interested, I don't know if you're interested, I think they would want like one person from each group. And then come back to the full committee. But apparently we're waiting for an engineer to sign the state.
Have they determined a location for it, or is that the point of the committee?
What?
Have they determined the location for the Civil War monument, or is that the
No.
point of the committee?
I think that's the point of this working group would be to come back and say, you know, here's our two options and rule out anything that's not feasible.
Okay.
I think that's where we're at right now.
It's kind of tricky. Like, I was thinking about where the devil that thing could go. There's not a lot of spaces.
Right. And I mentioned this to them, I think I freaked Jeremy out a little. I kind of think that if it's gonna get moved, it needs to be like a public hearing and just make sure that anybody that has something to say has an opportunity to say it.
Right.
Because I think some people might have some really strong opinions, even if it turns out we have no choice, at least give people a chance to talk about it.
Yeah, I wonder if it's not a bad idea to open it up to the public and just say, we're taking recommendations.
Yeah, true, if we, like she just said, who knows?
Oh, boy.
Do we have any updates on the DOT project? Because I've received nothing in spite of prompting them for updates about their start date or any alternate plans they've made.
Not really, from what I gather, and John said it, but it was in this email, I think they're waiting for some, hang on, engineer to be assigned, or like a community liaison.
That's really interesting because, you know, here in Cambridge, we had a major project right on Mass Ave in front of the law school. And they were giving us that song and dance too. And now we're finding out that they may not have the funding to do the project. So I'm wondering what's going on with funding on some of these DOT projects.
That's a little frightening.
An interesting question, yeah. Hang on, I'm trying to find what his exact wording.
Yeah, we thought this project in Cambridge was a done deal and completely funded. And now all of a sudden it seems like the funding has just disappeared. And
Yeah.
you know, they were partway into the project, like in phase 1, and now it looks like they're having to reconfigure the project to do it with less money without full funding.
Wow. Guess
Yeah,
that
it's a
wouldn't
huge
surprise
mess
me.
because they tore up infrastructure to start the project, and now it's just no one knows what's going on, and they're like, oh yeah, it's an engineering problem, but then I heard through the grapevine that it's a funding problem.
Yeah, I don't know, I think this is fun, I mean, that's a Jeremy question, big time. I think this project is locally funded, but then when it comes to the feds.
If it's locally funded, I'm sure it's fine, but if there's federal funding involved, it might not be fine.
Here, this says it's funded through TIP. But National Highway Performance Program, so there is federal money coming through this, so yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they're having problems getting federal money.
I'll have to ask them about that, that's a good question, but I guess not much we can do right now.
Yeah, a lot of these blue state projects have been kind of like, all the funding is magically like not surfacing.
That is a quandary.
Yeah, I mean, it would if there's a delay in the project though, then the Civil War thing becomes a little less salient, like, and it gives us more time to find out where we
Right,
might wanna
right.
place, yeah, where we might want to plant. It's really a tricky problem because as you go around town, if you want it in a public area where the public can engage with it, there's not a lot of spaces. Founders Park is chock full of monuments.
Right.
Right.
If we put another couple in there, it's going to look like a graveyard, you know?
Agreed.
Like a historic graveyard. I mean, I even thought, like, I wonder if we could put it in front of the records room. Plonk right in the lawn. Who knows?
Yeah, well, yeah, I think that's a big problem, right? We already moved that fountain over there to protect it,
I know.
and so, yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
I guess.
They're like, what is going on with the Carlson house? Is that occupied?
As far as I know, it's vacant and privately owned. I don't think.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe the town can purchase the property and throw a monument out
Yeah,
there.
it's that
That's a thought.
blue house on the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah, I thought about like reaching out to that guy to see if he wants to sell out, because I was like, I could renovate that, and then you could plant the thing in the yard, like the town. You could just partition a part of it off and make it like a public monument. I don't know.
Well,
somebody should talk to them.
could the town purchase it? Like, what is the, I know it's privately owned, but maybe they'd be open to the town purchasing it.
Yeah,
And then maybe the town.
I'll send an email to Dylan, the planner, and just mention that if that's something to explore. I know because we need another project, but I know, I don't know if I want to get into it in this meeting, but I know individually a couple of us have had conversations about how that property is somewhat in a commercial zone.
Yeah, it's on.
Could be an interesting redevelopment of some.
Yeah, I was thinking like to make a great, like, I don't know, massage studio. I think about that all the time. I just want a massage studio to walk to.
I mean, I think the challenge with that property is
Parking.
parking. And so
There's
it's
one
like,
park slip. There's around the back on that street that comes off the side. There's one parking slip that you could kind of finesse. If you could do
and
some
what is
on-street parking.
and I mean, I know Jane would probably be able to splurt this out, but I don't think she but like who owned that house, like historical significant wise, and for the town, like, I mean, we're all for preserving, but I'm just thinking of if we need more real estate or maybe an extension to Founders Park up there. I don't know.
I don't know what the board the searching on this property.
It's a district.
Yes,
It is.
it's 100% of the district. It's a historic home we built in 1880.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it just walking around it. It's not in, it's derelict, but it's not in horrible condition. Like the roof hasn't fallen in.
Right.
It's not structurally unsound. It could be renovated. It could be made into something, a small, like an office. You could easily make that into an office.
Yeah.
Like if you were a kind of person who didn't have tons of foot traffic, like an attorney or a psychologist or, some kind of engineering firm, whatever.
Right.
Do we know what the layout is gonna look like in front of that house?
So that's where things are up in the air. I think the plans have gone through so many iterations. If you remember the initial conversations where it was, they thought it could stay, they were gonna shrink that island.
Yeah,
Now, they're not sure how much of that island will remain. So that was the last I heard, is we're waiting on some sort of a dedicated liaison engineer person to be assigned to this project that will then come with the final, exactly what's happening.
right.
So I think that's where we're left. From what I think the private property is not, they're not touching, it's the island they're gonna take a big chunk out of, the straight line intersection.
Yeah,
You know, but could you just stick this in there, you know, on that property instead, even if it remains private? Maybe they're
Right.
potentially open to it.
right.
You know, I thought about even like, could we approach the church? You know, the white church. I can't remember what it's called. Like,
Yeah,
you know, that's technically a private space, but a church might be a more fitting memorial if it's going to be on private property than a corner of a busy intersection. Like, people might feel like the monument was better served in front of a church.
And that's an interesting thought.
I know, I'd love to
Because
see
it's
this kind of great,
you know.
however that is.
About where the tavern is.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thought too.
Or we put the fountain back at the tavern and
Yeah.
remove the monument where the fountain is.
Because the island in the center, in the Route 16 North Ave intersection is going, where the fountain used to be. That's gone.
Yeah. All right,
Hmm.
well, time to get to the think tank.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's too bad that that house just sits there vacant. I feel like that could be the missing piece of making all of this work.
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if Dylan can reach out.
someone mentioned it, just see if they've ever looked into any of that, that's an
Yeah.
interesting one. All right, so then that, I think that leaves us with the record. I got 7.
So we have, we are waiting for JJB to give us a new quote. And he's supposed to break it down into a couple of components so that we might have the opportunity to look at other resources. And Jeremy is going to help us get the funding.
Well, I think, yeah, so to recap, we met with Jeremy, we got permission to use the remaining funds to complete the work on this project. And I forget what that exact, I believe that number is, oh no, hang on, it's a different email. There's so many emails on this stupid project now. Yeah, because we had asked JJB for a price to finish the flooring, do the gutters, fix the basement entrance and close it in. Separately, I had reached out to get pricing on HVAC to do an inline dehumidifier. We do need to rebid those, which I will work on because they didn't all include prevailing wage.
Right,
And then we need to just buy a dehumidifier for the basement, which we can do.
right.
And I think that was it. Right, it was the gutters, the lintel, the basement, the flooring. That's JJB and HVAC.
Yeah.
And then that gets the building to a point that it's at least stable. It doesn't address the ADA issues or the septic or the water.
Right, and you know, there are ways around the ADA issues, and one of them is you can buy a portable ramp to get in and out of the building if need be. That could tie us over for a while until we find funding to take care of that. The other thing is the gutters. Jeremy suggested that we might be able to outsource the gutters to a local company. And grab a couple of quotes on that and take it off the JJB list of things to do. I mean, ideally.
Well, I think we have sufficient funding to do everything that JJB and HVAC proposed.
Yeah,
I think the number was 31,000.
yeah. So ideally, Mark Pupino would like to see this move forward as a public safety museum. So we need to sit down and figure out how much it's gonna cost to maintain the building, keep it heated, keep the electricity rolling in there. And I think once we can figure all that out, we can, the select board can take a look and either give it a vote of approval or,
Is the thought that this would be like a third-party nonprofit managing this, or is he just looking to work with the town to use town property to display town artifact, like it's gonna be a town thing,
yeah,
under the control of the town?
right,
Okay,
right. I believe that's how he's gonna approach it. And I
Yeah.
mean,
so it should be nominal, sorry, like, not like it's gonna be heated and like super more than it is right now.
right.
Just
And then-
might be open.
Then I think we also have to factor in how much does it cost every month to run the sump pump, to keep it heated so it doesn't get soggy. And we probably should look at the past couple of months and see what the electrical bill looks like.
Yeah, I can look into that, I can plug a thing into the sump pump and see what kind of usage it has, and
Yeah.
always look at the electrical bill. I mean, that would be nice if they charge some sort of admission fee to recover your costs.
Right. I mean, I think Mark has some ideas about, raising funds, getting donations to keep it up and running, for as long as he can. And, where they live right next door, it's easy to open the museum, close it. Get some public exposure. It'd be really nice if we could get it open for the tree laying ceremony. I mean, that might be pushing it. JJB said they might be able to get it.
It's just the
get
floor,
us in
that's the
for
critical thing.
October. But even if they could get in there, set their stuff up, they can open the doors for the Christmas tree lighting, where everybody kind of comes and goes down the street. It would be great exposure for them, so we'll keep working on that.
I think my only concern is that if that's the plan, that there's an intent to have it be an active, like I would hate to see it just get filled up with a bunch of stuff and get open one day a year.
Right.
And I'm not that Mark would ever do this or anything, but I think, if there's like an active plan,
Right,
because I think whatever we do, this space being used is important.
yeah.
It shouldn't just sit empty or be filled up with a bunch of stuff and sit again.
Yeah, I mean, can I be honest? Like a public safety museum, like what do we think the exhibits and the draw is for that?
You're really, really faint.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess as a public safety museum, what do we think the customer is to visit that?
I think that they would have to work with the public safety officers for events and, like, for example, don't they give out ice cream, and make it,
I don't know what stuff, because I know there's a lot of fire stuff, only because I know we help recover it.
Yeah.
I would like to think that there's hopefully police stuff, and then I wonder if maybe there's interest from surrounding towns. Like I know Millis has a really successful kind of firehouse space.
right,
It's much bigger.
And Uxbridge does as well. So according to Mark, he's got a lot of artifacts. We've got photos and equipment and all kinds of things, that are of interest. I mean, what we recovered were like old Motorola's and, the ticker tape for the fire department that used to be over in the fire station is there. There's just a wealth of fun stuff. He's got a map of the first proposal for a public water supply in the town of Mendon that he's having framed. So I think it's gonna be interesting, and I think when the police and the fire department have events, they should be using that space to get people in and looking around.
But it's interesting. I mean, I'm just wondering who the people who are going to visit it are. Like, is he thinking school groups?
Sure. Absolutely. I know that we've got videotape of the old fire musters.
Hmm.
I mean, there's all kinds of old footage that, you know, they could do a movie night in there and show, you know, the kids what they used to do and
I have a question. What would the other alternative be if it weren't
Yeah.
a public safety museum?
I'd like to hear the other ones too.
I don't know.
I mean, I think
That's just
the
it.
other idea that, you know, is the potential commercial use of the space, but we have to solve, it needs water, it needs septic.
Yeah.
It needs, and I guess by ADA, you know, I think the ramp is easy to solve, I think
Yeah.
it would be like a full-on ADA bathroom, which was gonna be an addition. That's a much bigger, you know, where a museum probably could get away with that, because it's a very limited space.
Right.
Versus, you know, if that's gonna become a whatever office, suddenly it needs a much bigger investment.
Yeah.
How many square feet
Grants
is
out
the
there,
main
I guess I
level?
just,
but I don't know who's interested in that, because there's plenty of other vacant spaces that are just vacant too,
Right,
so,
right.
I don't know.
So what,
Tiny home.
did you have ideas as to what you think it might be used for?
I mean, it could be an art gallery. We have a new, that new space right around the corner that's like handmade gifts, and we have a coffee shop.
Yeah,
I was
seems like
thinking an
we
art.
might-
I was thinking an art
Yeah.
gallery too.
Like,
But,
because I was
like,
thinking,
or,
like we have a lot of these sort of shuttered old houses that are open periodically, full of old stuff. Like we have the Mendon Historical Museum, and then there's the other one down the street by Mendon Motors, and you kind of think, do we need more of that? You know?
I think that the idea is to get people out and about downtown, and
Right.
you know, a public safety museum, like it's cool, but couldn't you do that in the
In the
historical
historical,
society and like
yeah.
show videos there and like try and bring people in there? And I just feel like if you're gonna hold an event for the fire department, for the police department, there's not enough room in there for
No,
that
there's no
anyway. So it's
parking.
like,
Yeah.
what can we do to, I don't know, have you guys ever been what is it Gloucester, the historic district down in
Yeah,
Rhode Island?
yeah, I've
Like
been
it's
up
part of
there,
Burrillville,
yeah.
you know, like the little rotary there, and you know, they're trying to bring people out, and there's little shops and galleries, and I just feel like Mendon is not, there's just not enough happening downtown. And I don't think a public safety museum is the answer. I feel like we
Yeah,
need to
I
get
gotta
people
agree.
out and
Yeah.
community, and I wish that you could, although you have the coffee shop now next to the post office, you don't want to like throw in another one, but like I definitely think a gallery, or almost like the Hopkinton Center for the Arts or something like that.
Like a little exhibit
and just-
space, or maybe somewhere
Yeah.
you have children's drawing classes for the elementary school. Like, come on Saturday and draw or
Right.
paint, or like, and then have an exhibit of people's work. Because I think that you have the coffee shop, you have the little handmade gift shop. So you get a little bit of people milling around, add another couple things, and you might get more people milling around. Whereas like a public safety museum, there's no parking, so you can't really have big events. And it's another space where we've got somebody's collection of old stuff kind
You
of
can't have big
in a
events there
space.
anyway, because
Yeah,
there's a capacity issue, because
Yeah.
the building, I mean, how many square feet is it? 700 square feet? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
living
It's
area.
little, yeah.
What is it?
Yeah, so it's like, what can
Sorry.
it really accommodate?
Yeah, I think you could accommodate like, 10 kids doing some drawing on a Saturday morning, or like, or somebody hanging a photography show, or, somebody hanging handmade quilts, or I don't know, stuff.
And then like when you know, like just like a gallery would, right? So say you have like opening night for the gallery, and maybe you like, maybe whoever's running it, they get the coffee shop to stay open a little later down around
Yes,
the corner, and
yes.
just try and
The gift shop, yeah.
just
You
try and
know,
get
what
everybody
I'm
sort of-
hearing is two people with some great ideas about a downtown revitalization program. And where have you been? Let's get to work.
Well, I think the problem is that everything is so very much residential, and there's just not enough commercially zoned
Sidewalks.
properties, or there's no
Yeah,
there's no
that's-
sidewalks. And
Yeah.
it's like, and
Yeah.
there's no town sewer and there's
Front of
no
my
town
house,
water.
when they're building
and
this mess, there should be a sidewalk. Yeah.
yeah, it's just
Don't
so
think-
difficult to do a revitalization when everything is already taken up as it's all specifically residential, so.
Right, right. And I think that
Yeah.
was part of the master plan, was to get a better plan together for the downtown revitalization. So this is why we opened up the town hall campus, so that you could get food trucks down here. People could go to the upstairs of the library and use that space. And then the little downtown shops and the little museums. And yeah, I think the biggest issue that everybody has brought forward and kind of kills a lot of these ideas is the traffic and the speed.
The
that-
traffic is, I mean, I live on that corner and I walk to the post office every Saturday to get my mail, and I'm always holding my breath when I when I
There
cross the
really
road, because there's no.
there really just needs to be and I don't want to see anybody, anybody's real estate get taken up, but they need to just like maybe shrink the road so you can put in parallel parking spots all along the side there. I mean, no one can park. Think about how ridiculous it is, when we have any sort of event in town, we've got everybody's like parking in the school parking lots and getting shuttled around. It's ridiculous. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's
agreed.
just, I'm wondering maybe as a compromise option too, maybe the use is turn it into a generic exhibit gallery space where then you could set up a public safety exhibit, set up an art exhibit and rotate things through.
Yeah,
But at
And
least
maybe you get the schools involved, and maybe, maybe on certain nights they have like senior art show night, and then, someone from the band is
I
playing.
think you could do
they
kids
have
drawing
violin.
or
I'm
kids painting,
Yeah,
because there is
Yeah.
so little. Yeah. There's
So-
so little
There's a
funding
way
for
to
any
do this.
children's art activities.
I don't
There
know.
was way back when my girls were, well, they're still little, right? But when like my 18-year-old was little, there was the place was at Artworks in Hopedale. And so everybody would shuttle their kids to Artworks, and they did their art classes there. They got rid of, like, there's nothing around here anymore.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, when I walk by the historical museum, I always think this would be better served as something for the elementary kids to do arts and crafts and like classes and calligraphy and do something, because there's nothing. It's like kind of an art desert.
Right, right. And I don't know if you're aware, but Emily Huber, who owns the Peregrine, she has done a couple of open town center projects. Like they had Oktoberfest over there, and she's had coffee shops come out.
Oh, I did see that. I think the challenge with, and I think she's great and I love her shop. It's adorable, but I think that a lot of the stuff is so pricey that it's just hard. People just like feel bad going in there because they don't, they're not going to spend $300 on a blanket today,
Right.
But,
I mean, it definitely is a specialty shop, but she has a real good, keen awareness of, that whole area and how to revitalize it and how to work inside the community.
yeah,
She's
no, it's adorable.
shop.
It's adorable. Yeah.
Um,
No,
they
but if you can
put-
like offset that and have a little gallery like around the corner or
Right,
things
right.
like that.
So there are we opened up additional parking behind the red building. I don't know if you're aware of that. There's parking for about 5 or 6 cars. And if we had the right people forging ahead, the housing authority, the Milford Housing Authority behind the post office, some of that land belongs to the town. And that ought to be an opportunity to negotiate and get additional parking back there. I mean, there's no reason after they tore down the old barn that we can't use that space, but we've got to just present an idea and get it moving forward so that the town can, make it part of the plan, the long-range plan.
Right.
So I hear everything that you're saying, and I absolutely agree, and it would be great to, the upstairs of the library right now is just storage.
Well, you mentioned like that whole second floor is just, we keep having conversations in this building about different ideas of how we could rearrange. I mean, there's a whole second floor that's just could be used for something.
Right.
Well, could the seniors, is it not ADA? Is it not ADA?
Yeah,
compliant?
they
No.
need 5 times the space that's in there.
No, I'm saying, but maybe
Oh.
somebody like holds like a little class for the seniors there. There's definitely
Yeah.
things you can do.
Well, so the problem is you'd have to figure out, it can have a ramp, but it also has no bathroom on the second floor.
Right.
So you'd have to have a full bathroom. We, as part of the campus project, they, on paper, sketched out it would be in front of the building, a switchback ramp that would go from the sidewalk to the front door, which wouldn't look great, but at least physically would solve the problem.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the issue with the seniors is that they need, if they're gonna do something, they need a big space.
Yeah.
They don't need a bunch of small spaces. I think they have that. They can go to the church, they can go to the end zone, whatever.
Right.
I think their frustration, I mean, it's the same problem that we have in parks. It would be nice to just have everything in one place.
Right. Yeah.
And will they come back? Will they come back around and try and push that again?
My understanding is we've signed on with a different firm to do a new study, to take a new look at all of our needs and all the options again and see if anything got left on the table. I have not heard much more than that. I'm not sure it's necessary. Like, I don't think anything's coming back in the next 6 months. I do think something will come back eventually. I just don't know when. I mean, I think the voters are pretty clear.
Yeah. So how do we feel about making a short-term recommendation on, doing the fire, public safety museum? Because, we don't know when the funding's gonna come through to do anything, it just, maybe we decide that, it's better to put a bathroom upstairs in the library than it is to, try to forge that building along any further than it already is. Just, would we support that?
I don't even know that I can. I don't think I'm technically on the commission, so I don't think I can say anything.
But we need public feedback, so, and I think you're, pretty familiar with, what we've got.
Well, maybe
So
Mark,
are you saying you want to push for the public safety museum, or are you saying you'd rather put funds into putting a second bathroom in the library?
I think what I'm saying is because funding is so wonky right now, that I would rather see the building get used as opposed to never used. It's already, poison ivy is already growing back on the back of it, which is so disturbing to me. After sinking all that money, it's like, I'd rather it be functional to some, degree, as opposed to sitting vacant.
I guess
I just
my
feel like
fear is, that we get about, somebody puts a whole bunch of stuff into there and then it doesn't really get used and we can't get the stuff out. Like, okay, 5 years from now, you aren't getting foot traffic in the museum and this particular person has no place for their collection and it's just staying in there,
Right. So when the Historic Society was occupying that building and the other building on Founders Park, the arrangement was the town would lease the building to the society. And the society in turn took care of maintenance issues. But we were on a year-by-year lease, so to speak. So if you decide after 2 years that there's another purpose or that the museum wants to move into a different space or something else becomes available, you reevaluate every year to make sure that it's still the direction you want. It's not a long-term, commitment.
So he's going year by year, and
Well,
if
we
we
haven't
if,
discussed that yet.
so if in 2 years or so, he's just got a whole bunch of cool old stuff in there, and it's only open a couple days a year, and there's hardly anybody going in and out of there, we can say, well, this isn't what we really intended for this space.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a possibility.
I
You
just,
know,
my fear is that like the idea of a public safety museum doesn't have enough draw with young people to make it, I don't know. I guess I'm a little pessimistic. We do have like the historic building has a bunch of older, collections in it, and then there's that place next to Mendon Motors that also has older collections in it, and I just don't see, there's not a lot of utility there.
Yeah, you remember there's nothing in the building on Fawners Park. That's all Christmas stuff.
There's Christmas.
Yeah, that doesn't have a collection. The entire
Oh, okay. Because
collection
when I
is.
went in there at Christmas, there were some things in there. I thought they were permanent collections,
No,
but I guess
it's the weights and measures that
Yeah, it's the
need
weights-
to come to this building.
Yeah, the weights and measures is gonna come here. That big case
That's a project.
is gonna come here, so we're.
Okay. Yeah.
I know I don't have a vote, but I'm anti.
Yeah, I don't either, but I kind of am not. And we're in the same team. I think we're team gallery.
Yes, I
Right.
want an art gallery.
Well, you know what?
Sorry, guys.
Here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna have 30 days to think about this.
Okay.
Why don't you just, let's.
And we will revisit it. In the meantime, Dan and I will make sure that we've got quotes, that we're ready to move forward, and at least we get the floor done.
Yeah, we gotta push him, at least, let's close that out, and then we can keep talking about it.
And just think about it, come back with ideas, let's, I mean.
Here's the thing, if you do a gallery, it's get the floors done, get the walls cleaned up, right?
Right.
That's literally all you need for a gallery.
Yeah, that's all you need.
And then you just start bringing people in to display their work, or you get the schools
tell the
involved,
high school,
or whatever you want to do. Yeah.
You could say like you get 6 months out of the year to do a gallery show with your students, and on the other alternating 6 months, other people in town can put in proposals.
Yeah.
I love it. I think that's what needs to happen.
I think kids would come down and they'd be so excited to show their work.
30 days.
Yeah. Or like beekeepers.
All right, guys, I have to get
club
going.
Actually, I have another meeting at 7.
All right. Dan's gonna cut us off immediately.
Well,
Oh, yeah, you
I can
can.
leave you to it. I just
fair
had to go back.
All right, think about it and come back with proposals and let's, explore as many avenues as we can. Because we don't want that sitting there rotting, so.
Do we wanna meet,
Sound
we should probably get another date, or we want an email,
Yeah,
I think.
Who's ready for our next date? October,
I forget, I don't even remember what it's supposed to be. Is it supposed to be the something Monday or Tuesday?
3rd Monday of the month.
It's the, 3rd.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I just looked at
Do we
it.
wanna try for the 22nd, or we wanna wait a little bit?
I have a Harvard commitment on Monday, so I can probably remotely dial in. Sorry, it's really loud in the train, but
I do.
I
mean,
can do some
other
remote,
days.
but
I can't do Wednesdays. I can do most.
So Dan is a little more available if other days work, now that the beaches.
Yeah, well, because Ruth had a hard conflict on Tuesdays, but if Ruth is out,
Yeah,
we could do Tuesdays.
I have Tuesday and Friday, or those are my days I don't have Harvard commitments. So
I would say if we tentatively want to maybe say the 23rd or the 30th, unless something comes up.
yeah, you wanna do the 23rd?
October 23rd.
Yeah,
Hang on. 1, 2, 21. So it'd be 21 if we did October.
okay.
Unless something comes up with one of these sooner.
What time on the 21st?
I
So
would vote for 7 because 6
Seven,
is
I think it was
tough.
just tonight was a bad scheduling problem.
Yeah, 7 o'clock would be better. I've got like kids sports like every day for the rest of my life, so.
Don't worry, eventually they get sick of it.
Yeah.
They go to college.
Yeah, well.
Well, they put that on the books, so I can't forget about it. And
I move to close the meeting, the joint meeting of the Historic Commission and the Historic District Commission.
I
Second?
second. Oh,
all in favor.
Aye.
Who seconded?
I
Yeah.
did, Deb.
Hey, Deb.
The other
Hey.
Deb.
All right, I'm stopping the recording.